Welcome to Let's Talk Criterion, where we'll be taking a look at upcoming releases in the Criterion collection. This week we feature Michael Mann's 1981 film Thief, starring James Caan, getting a 4K upgrade in the collection. James Caan was a well-established actor who gained prominence when he played Sonny Corleone in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. His first role was in Howard Hawks' El Dorado in 1966, and throughout the rest of the 1960s he featured in Robert Altman's Countdown from 1967 and Francis Ford Coppola's The Rain People from 1969. He also received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in the 1971 television movie Brian's Song. He then went on to star in The Gambler in 1974 and with Barbra Streisand in Funny Lady, the sequel to Funny Girl in 1975. Then came Rollerball in 1975, A Bridge Too Far in 1977, Comes a Horseman in 1978, and Chapter 2 in 1979, before he was cast in Thief in 1981. In Thief, Frank, a jewel thief and ex-con, has set a way of living since he was released from Joliet Correctional Center, Illinois, with a pair of successful businesses to his name, a bar and car dealership, as fronts for his criminal activities. He sets out to find what's missing in his life: vision and a family with Jessie, a cashier he's begun dating, played in the film by Tuesday Weld. Now, Frank's a highly skilled professional thief, a trade he learned behind bars from Okla, Willie Nelson, a master thief. Now, the film's opening sequence establishes Frank's expertise as he cracks a safe with a portable drill. Frank sees himself as a completely independent loner, but we see him differently, as a lonely, unloved kid who is hiding out inside an adult's body. He is a loner who desperately needs to belong to somebody. He trusts his partner, Barry, played in the film by James Belushi, but that's not enough. But there's another person who comes into his life: Leo, the master criminal. He's a fence who sets up heists and hires people to pull them off. Leo, in a wonderfully complex performance by the sad-faced Robert Prosky, knows how to enlist Frank. "Let me be your father," he says. "I'll take care of everything." Now, he does. Even supplies Frank and Jessie with an illegally obtained baby boy when they've been turned down at the adoption agency. But once the thief goes with Leo, his life gets complicated. The cops seem to be on his case, his phone's bugged, and everybody knows his business. Now, the movie leads up to one final caper, a $4 million diamond heist in Los Angeles. Thief marks the first film appearance of actors Dennis Farina, William Peterson, James Belushi and Robert Prosky. They've all got speaking roles in the film. At the time, a Chicago police officer, Farina appears as a mob henchman. Conversely, John Santucci, real name John Schiavone, who plays the role of corrupt cop Urizzi, was a recently paroled thief on whom the character Frank was partly based, and he acted as a technical advisor on the film. Thief was filmed on location in Chicago and Los Angeles. Jerry Bruckheimer and Ronnie Kahn served as the film's producers. Being Michael Mann's feature film directorial debut, Thief showcases many of the cinematic techniques that would later become his trademarks. Chief among these, of course, is the cinematography provided in the film by Donald E. Thoren. He utilises light and shadow to give the proceedings, especially those taking place under cover of darkness, a sense of danger. Now, the film also earns plaudits for its meticulous attention to detail, the tools and techniques of the trade, right down to the oxylants used to penetrate a safe. They're all authentic, the result of Mann's decision to hire real-life thieves to serve as the film's technical advisors. Now, I've always had a great appreciation for the technical elements going into Mann's work, and his world is so clearly his own when you see it on the cinema screen. Lighting, often cold blues, and shadow are used to evoke a sense of danger. Most scenes are shot at night because that's when his characters are at their most active. That time of the day is also what makes his lighting stand out best. Mann had initially wanted to score the film with blues music, but instead he found the eerie Tangerine Dream electronic score to work better. And it became a hallmark in his movie from here on, of course, that you get musical scores that were just a little bit ahead of their time, using electronic instruments to evoke a sense of looming danger. Now, with Mann's work in the 1980s through to the early 2000s, I think that he delivers both style and substance. He manages to take very procedural stories where cops are investigating crimes and criminals and go through the tedious steps of breaking into a building or safe, for instance, and make them captivating for us to watch. And he also gets great performances out of his actors. And here he has a tense dynamic between Frank and Leo in the film. Robert Prosky is a familiar face in cinema, but this marked his film debut. And for most of his career, he had worked in stage productions or television. But Prosky walks that very fine line between warm, genial, and vicious, bloodthirsty. It's a perfect contrast to Frank's reserved personality, never letting anyone see more than he wants them to. And it's clear from their first meeting that it's going to lead to a bloody showdown. Thief is one of those near-perfect movies mimicked by so many other directors, yet rarely ever matched in quality. Mann directed a TV movie shot in Folsom Prison, and it informed this script, and he examined what it would be like for someone to lose so much of their life behind bars. He became particularly interested in how Frank, having developed as a person removed from society, would be, and how difficult it would be for him to interact outside of criminal enterprise. And Mann would encourage James Caan to do deep research on inmates upon their release into society. He wanted the actor to both understand the psychological parts of the character and to practice Frank's skills in the film related to his line of work. Now, I have to say, there's an exceptionally wonderfully written monologue Frank delivers to Jesse, which is the highlight of the film. I think it's a fantastic showcase of the empathy and thought behind Mann's writing, as well as a testament to the work James Caan did to inhabit the character. James Caan's emotional several-minute monologue with Tuesday Weld in a coffee shop is often cited as the film's high point, and Caan has long considered the scene his personal favourite in his entire career. When interviewed, in fact, he said he liked the movie, though he found the part of Frank challenging to play. Now, Michael Mann began working as a young screenwriter. He worked on a failed draft of the Dustin Hoffman film, Straight Time. This film's about a man who's released from prison and trying to go straight. So he could draw from that when he was writing the screenplay for Thief. And also, at the same time, he was working on the treatment for Heat. Now, this 4K upgrade has been anticipated for some time, and it comes, as usual, in a 2-disc set. There's a 4K UHD with the film itself, and that's in Dolby Vision HDR, a digital restoration of the director's cut, supervised and approved by the director Michael Mann, with a surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack. And the Blu-ray contains the film and these special edition features: audio commentary featuring Mann and actor James Caan, interviews with Mann, Caan and Johannes Schmolling of the band Tangerine Dream, which contributed to the film's soundtrack, trailer, and an essay written by the critic Nick James. And the cover art for the release is the same as the original release cover art, and that is designed by Fred Davis. Now, I must admit, these features are now somewhat dated, as they're just the same features that was present on the original Criterion Blu-ray release. And I did speak about how Criterion treat their 4K releases a few editions back, I'm less than satisfied with this given their high price point. And I in fact have done a quick comparison with the UK Arrow Blu-ray release. Now I found it has these features. We have the directors, Michael Mann, that's a 2001 documentary on the filmmaker containing interviews with Mann, James Belushi, William Peterson, John Voight and others. Stolen Dreams, a new interview that was recorded with Caan filmed exclusively for that particular release. Hollywood USA, James Caan, an episode of the French television series Ciné regarding the actor, and that's filmed shortly after Thief had completed its production. The Art of the Heist, an examination of Thief by writer and critic F.X. Feeney, and he's the author of the Taschen volume on Michael Mann. So as you can see, it's worth sometimes doing a comparison between different releases of the same film with regard to special features, just to see if there's more out there. Finding a hypnotic beauty in neon and rain-slicked streets, sparks and steel, Thief effortlessly establishes the moody stylishness, tactile approach and drama that would also define such later iconic Michael Mann films as Heat, The Insider, Ali and The Last of the Mohicans. Thief has a running time of 124 minutes and it's in an aspect ratio of 185:1 widescreen, and it comes to the collection as a 4K UHD Blu-ray combo on Tuesday the 11th of March with existing spine of 591. Next time on Let's Talk Criterion, we'll be taking a look at the 1980s high point in the ever-evolving mythology of the King of the Monsters with Godzilla vs. Biollante, coming to the collection in 4K UHD and Blu-ray. And as a special coda to this edition of Let's Talk Criterion, I'd just like to mention the recent success enjoyed by Anora at the Academy Awards. It won Best Film, Best Director, Best Editing, Sean Baker, and Best Original Screenplay, Sean Baker, not to mention, of course, Actress in a main role, Mikey Madison. I'd like to personally congratulate the Anora production team, and we all look forward to seeing that release coming out on Criterion on Tuesday, the 29th of April. And from me, as always, until next time, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.